Welcome back on this Friday morning. What an exciting Friday. And obviously, I am not at work today. I want to wish all of our veterans a very happy Veterans Day in the United States. And as I always try to be mindful, because anytime I sent out a reminder this morning for an event, and I always get the text USA, USA. I know I screwed something up internationally for my international friends who it's only a holiday in the United States, just a reminder. So just so that others know, I want to celebrate everything. It is Remembrance Day in Canada as well, so we want to make sure we celebrate all of that as we go through today, and anyone celebrating a holiday or remembrance today as well. So the other thing I want to share is I want to thank our sponsors, Swivel and Bulb. And when I talk about Stronger Together, it's not just about teacher to teacher. It's not just PLCs or PLNs or any of the other acronyms we use. It's all of us coming together to support students and to support learning. So without our solution providers, who there's so many great ones out there that support learning, we wouldn't be able to do what we do here in our field as well. So we have an amazing lineup today. It's the first time we have 5 people on at the same time. And first of all, as I start launching this, the countdown, one of our guests is is something going to explode? Literally, I get the warning that says software update, click here. And I'm like, if this thing restarts at 9:01, right when we're beginning, that's then he was right. But I do want to, before we bring in our 5 guests, yes, 5 today, I want to bring in one individual, Lori. I just wanted to welcome you in. You are one of our 4 guests today, 5 of us all together. And I just wanted to, first of all, say congratulations. I don't think I've had a chance to publicly share my excitement to have you sign on and join the X Factor publishing team to share your work in your book. So I wanted to congratulate you on that.
Thank you. Yes, I'm very excited.
So before we bring everyone else on, can you give people an idea of what you're going to write about, what is the theme of this, and what can people expect from your work?
Sure. Yeah. So, for those that don't know me, I'm Lori Guion. I'm at Smile Learning on Twitter. My role for the past 7 years has really been professional learning and professional learning around anything with educational technology. So the book is really going to be about how and why to use technology in the classroom, what it can do, what you don't want it to do, just an overview of everything that I've learned over the past few years with teaching and training teachers, and then using also the experiences I had in the classroom to really talk about what the power of technology can really do.
And I've just seen you continue to do the work. It's really amazing. When I was asked by Brian Aspinall to start thinking about bringing a team together, the first thing I thought of was all right, what is something that I'm passionate about? And I did, a school building principal, and then did a lot in the ed tech leadership space. And it always impresses me, the work that you do. The other 3 guests that are coming up, I get excited and want to learn from practitioners. If you look at any of our, authors, it's people who are doing the work, and that just inspires me to learn more. And part of doing what I'm doing here, it's not in a let me make a podcast. It's how can I learn from other people in the field? And I think it's really exciting. And you and I had a chance to meet in person doing that exact same thing. I literally just put out hey, I'm doing a thing at FDTC on Bunsea. Does anyone want to help me? Because I know there's people who do better than me. And you're like, hey, I'm Laurie, I'll help you. And we met literally in the room, and I've just been impressed ever since. And you also were the catalyst to bringing me to the event that we're about to talk about. So I appreciate that. I heard about it, 6 years ago from Lisa Nelson, who is a tech educator in New York City. And every year it's yeah, I'll get there. Yeah, I'll get there. And this is the first time I'm going to get all the way out to Rochester. I learned it's not near Albany.
Not near Albany, no.
And I'm going to bring in some of our amazing guests who I learned from in multiple capacities. So I'm going to bring in Mike. I got something special up here just for you, my little Miami Dolphin gnome. I figured you'd have something Buffalo, so I figured I'd have to put my little gnome up there as well. And we also have Amy and Deanne. Welcome all of you for being here and welcoming this Bostonian to your event next weekend. I also see some people jumping on live. If you have questions, feel free to throw some questions. This is going to be just a 20-minute discussion about what you all do and what people will learn from attending your sessions next week. So for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, next weekend is NYSCATE, and I don't want to talk about it because I've never been and know nothing about it. So I'd love for one of you four to jump on and talk with me about what this event is next weekend.
So I can jump in with this one. NYSCATE is the New York State Association for Computers and Technology in Education. And really, it's the premier event for us in New York, right? Because it's all of us across the state that come together to talk about what we're doing in the world of education, in the world of using technology. We're really, I want to say that the sessions you have there and the presenters that we have at this conference are really the ones that are doing the work, like you said, Matt. But they're also on the cutting edge. They're really thinking about what else can we do, how else can we support students, and really that's how I've met the others you have here. Mike and I met because he had a question on an app that I had used or a program I had used, and I said, let's grab a coffee at NYSCATE and we can chat about it.
Nice.
It's really that type of conversation that happens. It's coming together. I mean, the theme this year is convening, and that's exactly what we do. We're convening. We're coming together to share our ideas, to support each other in what we do, and really to just learn from each other.
So we had a chance to meet Lori. I'd love for the other three to introduce themselves, tell us a little about what they do, and then we're going to jump into some backgrounds of the event.
You can go first, Mike. Oh gosh, I know.
All right, yeah, I'll jump in. I was going to let ladies go first, but since you're sending it this way, I'm Mike Drezik. I'm a district tech integrator at Lakeshore Central Schools in Angola, New York, just outside of Buffalo. And I've been going to NYSCATE probably since, I want to say 2015 was my first one. They've been going on for long before that. I was a math teacher for 10 years. As a math teacher, NYSCATE wasn't really something that I heard of. But as I transitioned into my tech role, I think there was a lot of buzz around, hey, this could be really something that helps me in my role as a tech integrator. And it's definitely been the case, and been excited to go pretty much every year since I started in my role as a district tech integrator. So I work alongside Deanne, and we support 5 schools at Lakeshore, 3 elementary schools, a middle school, a high school, and we're in and out of classrooms all day doing some fun stuff, some exciting stuff, challenging stuff, trying to bring new ideas to the classrooms around tech, or just meet teachers where they're at. Every day is different. That's what I like most about it.
Well, I'm
just going to jump in. So you work with Deanne, but on the day we were going to do this, she said, I've had enough of him. I'm going over with Amy. I like it.
Yeah, that was a strategic move.
We did invite him.
Okay, fair enough. So Amy and Deanne, take it away.
Yeah, I'm Deanne Polian. Like Mike said, I work at Lakeshore as a tech integrator. Mike actually is the one that started in tech integration and came into my classrooms as a secondary ELA teacher. For me, he came in and kind of gave me new life. So then when there was a position for me to be able to take there, I applied and became a tech integrator. This is year 5, I think, for me.
Wow.
And since I've been doing that, I've gone to NYSCATE, and that's actually how I met Lori. Lori inspired a huge project that we did. It was like perfect timing at Lakeshore. So that's how her and I got to meet. I met her at a session at NYSCATE and was like, you have to be my new best friend because I love what you do.
How'd that work out?
It worked out amazing. So yeah, like Mike said, this year for me is completely different in my role as a tech integrator from any other year. I've really taken on new challenges and really looked at the computer science standards that are heading out our way. And I'm just trying to find every opportunity to pull those standards into the classrooms and help find ways to support our teachers in those. So that's kind of been my thing this year, and learning from Lori, especially, and Amy and Mike and everybody that's coming to NYSCATE. I'm so excited to see what's coming because I know there's going to be a lot of stuff with coding because it's the next thing. It's like our next focus in New York State.
And I'm Amy Bloom. That's all you need to know. No. Amy Bloom, I'm the coordinator of instructional technology for Erie One BOCES. I work internally with the exceptional ed and the career in tech education. So I bounce back and forth between the two worlds. It's been keeping me extremely busy, and it's really been pushing me out of my comfort zone because I've never been in a position like this before, working with those two worlds, especially the career and technical field. Been loving every minute of it. Prior to that, I've been a technology integration specialist working with, a variety of educators from many districts. And I always honed true, like back to my roots of being in that classroom as a computer teacher. And, sometimes dipping back many, many years when I started as an art teacher. So yeah, that's going back many moons. Mike, look at you.
Look at this guy.
Showing us off there. Well, Mike and I known each other for a long time. I don't usually admit this in public, but we went to grad school together and many, many years ago. And Lori and I met through model schools through BOCES and actually met Deanne at a Nice Gate.
Nice Gate, yeah.
At Nice Gate, yeah. And I haven't gotten rid of her since.
No.
So she
Awesome.
keeps showing up.
and I think in a total shameless plug, it's the power of connections and bringing people together. And I think it's what inspires me about all of the work that you do and seeing all the creative things in like, how can I do that? How can I implement that? And I think, Mike brought up that he was a math teacher and went into technology. Amy, you're talking about art and into it. And Lori and Deanna shared similar kind of paths. They haven't started that way. But what I have really liked and I've seen the metamorphosis of these events, because even Mike said, oh, I didn't think that was something for me to go to the tech conference. What we're seeing now is that it's morphing into one, right? Like if you're not using technology in your classroom, you're not being an impactful teacher, and vice versa. If you're not using pedagogy and curriculum in the technology side, you're just teaching how to type. And I think seeing that has inspired me even more of the work that you're all doing. And I'd love for you to kind of share, because I've had a chance actually to see some of you present in either live or I saw some definitely over COVID, what you're going to be sharing at this event. In no particular order, just jump in.
Do you want to go?
Yeah.
All
so
right, let's do it.
We have 2 sessions at Nice Gate, and one of them is a taste of creativity with a dash of AR and VR. So we are talking about creativity, creating instead of consuming, and really pushing our teachers to give students an opportunity to, showcase their work in different ways. So we're going to be talking about a lot of different platforms, and any of the platforms that we can use that AR and VR part for, we're going to highlight those too. So it's not just, we're doing something like Book Creator is one of the ones we'll talk about, but then we're also going to talk about Merge EDU, where they have, the ability to pull in that AR and VR and, just some different things. The ones that, Elementary is one that Mike has actually brought our way, and it's just a different type of coding platform, but, it's different, it's new, and it's not super well known. So we're trying to pull some things out that, people maybe have not heard of or used the way that we're thinking that they could use it.
At the end of the day, I think it's more about process over product,
right?
And emphasizing to allow your students the flexibility to exemplify what they have learned.
Yeah.
And then the other session we're doing is e-robots. And yeah, this is one of my favorites. Held this a couple of times. So if you're at Nice Gate, come and play. We show a couple instructional practices in there where we do station rotation. We dive just about on the surface about computer science, how you can introduce it to the littles. So the E stands for elementary. So if you are a classroom teacher or just diving into the tech field for K through 5, this will be the place to be. This is where my heart and soul is with what I taught. So in there, we'll have a playlist. You'll be able to come. Again, we're going to introduce some computer science standards, how to teach robotics, both plugged and unplugged, and easy concepts that you can take away with. And then we're going to set you free where you're going to actually learn and play and experience each of the robots at every station we have set up for you.
And I kind of hopped onto her e-robots plan because we were able at Lakeshore last year to grab some new robots thanks to Lori. I mean, come on now, we really are connected. And I spent my summer texting Amy, how do I use this again? But I was working with some special ed students in summer school, and I got to play with all these robots and stole some from her and borrowed some from her. And we had some that we were able to get at Lakeshore. And so I brought those in. And so it was really, really motivating for me to try these. And then we actually have some older students robots too, but we're going to bring those in and, show those off too. And it's been fun to kind of push myself to learn.
Well, I think that's
things.
what they'll get at the session too, because there's so much value in play. And I think like when we become older adults, we kind of get scared to play. We think we're going to break the internet. And if anybody was going to break the internet, I would have done it by now. Totally.
Well, I could see that. You've tried really hard too.
I do. But I mean, honestly, roll up your sleeves. Just there's no judging. You're just going to come and you're going to play and learn. And
I keep learning. I was reading one of the things that you did with the Code and Go, and I was like, oh, I have to do that. I didn't even know you could.
Yeah.
And I think that's the great part of these events is that you can go and learn so many different things. And Ian, you had said that you kind of jumped into Amy's event, or session, and I kind of did that with Lori. Like, hey, how can I jump into something you're doing? Because it's really impressive, and maybe that'll help me get in. And this could be a one and done for her because I can tell how organized she is. She shared something with me at some point recently, and I will get to it, but I know how the process she is, and I am so like, all right, I'm on the airplane. Let me see if I can get this session going. And I know that's not, so I hope it's not a one and done, but I'm just apologizing publicly now that is the way I work, and you're just gonna have to deal with this guy for a bit longer. So Lori, what else besides the session that we're gonna be? Oh, and then you even took it up a notch and said, let's bring in Brian Aspinall. Who, if you think I will be the last one to put it in, walking to the session on his phone, adding the slides in. Just be prepared for the two of us. When we were down in Orlando, it's like, what time does it start? Hey, Brian, it starts in 10 minutes. The keynote that you are. Come on down. So just be prepared. So we're doing a session on the blended learning and looking at it both from a practitioner side, and then I'm going to bring in the lens of how leaders can support that as well, because all these great things are important, but if somebody is not pushing this within the leadership lens, who's supporting it financially and also with the backing of like, this is important to our learners, I want to bring that side to it as well. What other sessions are you doing, Lori?
Yes, and I know you'll get in the slide deck. I just like to have something, like some sort of framework of what am I talking about, but it doesn't have to be any of the slides. It's just the way I work. When I'm thinking about it, I get all my ideas out, and then however it happens. I'm fine with last minute. Don't worry about it. It'll be good. And I'm very excited. I've never actually met Brian in person, so I've certainly seen him plenty of times online. So this is exciting for me that way too. I have a few sessions this year. Last year, I did a lot with the computer science and digital fluency standards. I think I had 11 or 12 sessions. So this year, I kind of took a step back.
In one event?
In one event, yes. And it was back to back, I was running. And so this year I said, I'm going to take a step back and kind of look at the things that I really felt like I could, offer my voice to, that can kind of showcase the standards that we have in New York that everyone has on their minds, but maybe look at it from more that tech tool lens and from that pedagogy lens. So I am doing a session with Wakelet on Saturday on how I use Wakelet for organizing all of my resources for
nice.
different things. Yeah, that one will be fun. And then on Sunday, I'm doing one called You're Already Doing It. It's about digital citizenship. I'm doing that one with Carrie from Digital Responsibility, where we're going to showcase what you're already doing in the classroom around the world of digital citizenship, and maybe push to some other things that can really bring those ideas into the classroom. And then I have a session with Book Creator at their booth. I'm going to be doing a session with them on the activity books that I created around digital citizenship and digital fluency, or digital citizenship and computational thinking. And then we have our blended learning one. I'm looking at my schedule. And then I'm doing one with Alethea from Mad Learn. We're doing one on innovation and entrepreneurship, where she tells her story. I'll be telling a little bit more of mine on how we got to this point of what we're doing every day and kind of leveraging our experiences towards thinking with that entrepreneurial kind of mind. And then I'm doing one with Mike and Jamie Donnelly and Mary Alice Kern.
So not 11, but just like 10? The
Yeah,
chair, like,
no, only like 5 or 6.
all right, it's
Um,
noon. No, it's noon. Lori's done telling all the sessions she's doing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that one is on debunking cybersecurity myths, which I've been spending so much time doing cybersecurity lessons with students, and it's been incredible. It's been so much fun. We've been using the Spirit robot, and we did a takeover day on a STEM bus that one of the districts that I work with has. So it's definitely something I'm passionate about, and I can't wait for that session too. So I think that's it. Other than I'm on the Nightscape board, so you'll find me at the Nightscape meetups and the different activities that we have for that as well.
All right. So, Mike, if you don't go 12 deep here, it's going to be like, yeah, so what?
Yeah, I've only got 2, and and one of the ones that Lori had just shared about the debunking security myths in education, which I think is going to be like more of a panel session and looking at the lens of security through, I guess, multiple perspectives, but mainly the educator role. Like, how does this impact the teachers? From a non-IT perspective, what does that look like? I think in the age of increased threats in cybersecurity, I know it's not the fun stuff that everybody wants to talk about,
But it's important.
But it's important, and I think it's conversations that have to be had, and hopefully we can get that session interactive too, so that the people that are in there, walk away with either a new idea or having their questions answered, whatever that may be. I want to say, like, the biggest thing that I'm also bummed about these conferences, like when you present a session, and I don't know how you do 11, Lori, but of like what you're missing. Like, so I look when my session is, and it's like, oh, this is at the same time I'm presenting. Oh,
Yeah,
darn.
that is tricky. Are they recorded? Are they doing anything like that?
Yeah, that was always the plus. As much as we were all zoomed out from the virtual conferences, that was always kind of a perk to some of the online conferences. Where at this one, I mean, I know there's always a buzz about being back in person, and it's awesome. And I think I would definitely prefer that model of conference, right? But yeah, it's like, oh man, so it's dividing and conquering, and I guess the benefit of going with a colleague like Deanne is, hey, you go check out this session. I'm going to go check out this session, and we're going to come back and talk about it. I know a lot of districts have multiple representations there. They try to do the same. But the other session that I have is teaching virtual robotics with Unreal Engine. It's something, we've built up a computer lab, I guess, at Lakeshore that could handle this type of software. And with Unreal Engine, I think it's an authentic experience for students and for people to learn. And, when you're looking at we're talking about coding and we're talking about real life skills, kids are interested in game development. Kids are interested in programming. Kids are interested in, like career opportunities that could evolve out of something like this. So, some of the free education resources that Unreal Engine offers is pretty powerful. So I hope that, someone that comes to that session walks away with a new idea or brings that back to their districts. Like, hey, look what Lakeshore is doing. I think this is something that we need to bring to our school, because I just think it's good for kids. It's a lot of node-based coding, visual programming, but it's the same type of software that built the game Fortnite. And we know the kids are into that game. Yeah. So it's like, what creative minds do we have in our classroom? And maybe like, what's the next type of game that someone might develop that's sitting right in front of you in your classroom? There's a lot of opportunity there. So, these are things that I've learned from conferences just by connecting with other educators. So I always look at events like this, like a ripple effect. I know, going to something like Nightscape, I'm going to walk away with a new idea that I'm going to bring back to Lakeshore because I heard Lori sharing it or Matt in one of your sessions, or, that's the exciting thing about it. So.
Yeah, and I think if anyone who's watching, or if you listen to it back on the podcast or video, you can see when people start to talk about the things that they're doing, they get emotionally invested and excited and passionate. And I think that's what comes out when we work with practitioners. Like, not only did I read and research this, which there's a place for those individuals in our field, I actually do it. And then I'm going to show you this cool robot that I do. And people get really excited. And I gravitate to these events, the FETCs, the Nightscape events that bring people together who actually are showcasing, not showing off, showcasing, because as Mike said, others are coming to say, I want to learn this and make it my own. I mean, 2 weeks ago, I did the same thing. And I'm not saying it in a braggy way. I'm saying that this is the people that I gravitate to. I learned about Wakelet and Canva, and Lori showed me some things, and now I just try it. And am I an expert at it? Not even close. But it's not about that. It's about doing something different. And I write a lot in the book, The Power of Connections. I write about the difference between envy and jealousy. Where jealousy, you're trying to bring people down. I'm envious of all of you, and I'm not saying that in a bad way. I love the things you do, and I want to learn to get better. So the way I can do that is say, I want to see how I don't even know half the stuff you guys were just talking about. So I got to go and learn it, right? So I think that we do that in these events. And both Mike brought up and Lori said that she was talking about the meetups, that you learn a lot from people and not just from 8 to 5 during the day. There's night events. So I'd love for you to tell me some, not only because we want to have fun, right? Some of the nighttime events, but it's also a time that we can have these, not live on the internet, but have these kind of conversations. And this is where we also take things away. Like, how do you do this? Tell me how you do this. So tell me about some of the fun things that happen at night, because I'm hearing that it's really structured because it's out in Nowheresville. So you stay together and you, sorry, Amy, that's what people say, right?
I don't know if that was, I don't know if that's a knock on Rochester, but Rochester is an amazing, it's an amazing city. It's awesome.
I know. I thought that gets you all
Nowheresville.
going.
No, what I do love about
I
Nice
thought
Gate
I gotta
is
throw
that
out.
it's very connected. I like that. It's not like it's Nowheresville, but we
I'm
all
kidding, because there's an actual airport I'm
just
flying
teasing.
into, so it's not like.
But
some of the
everything
places
is
are.
like is centralized. It's in one place, and it's nice just to be able to make those connections, like you said, like afterwards. And they do an excellent job of planning a lot of awesome events. There's usually live bands, trivia night. There was karaoke, I think, one year. I don't remember.
I know that we've had that before.
Yeah.
We have a lot of fun, and it's such a nice time to hang out with the people you see hosting those sessions, having a little, like, getting to know people, so that maybe you can ask them for help later on, what you learned during the day, like Lori. And it's fun, and everyone is happy to have that, like, kind of reboot. You get a little new energy and make some new connections, and it's fun, and we're all geeks.
It's like almost like it's the unconferenced version of Nice Gate.
Yeah.
The after party, I would think.
Awesome.
The unconference.
I think
I like that. That's great way to put it.
Praise that, Laura. You're on the board.
Yeah, I mean, what I was gonna say is, like, what I like about Nice Gate is it's big, but it's not too big. When you go to like an ISTE or an FETC or like a really, really large conference, sometimes you can get lost in the noise of all of that. And Nice Gate is just, it's just right. I don't know. It's just a nice size. It's big, but it's not overwhelmingly big. And I think you have a chance to feel like you're not missing too much. I do like that, I know we're talking about some of the night stuff, but I do like that they have a student STEAM Fest on a Friday all day for kids. I love that they bus kids up there. So they've made a student portion of this conference on that Friday. I love that Saturday. While there's educator sessions going on, I know one of my sessions is on Saturday, but they also have the Maker Faire. You could look outside the convention center and you'll see the big dragon shooting out fire, and you'll see all the makers, and you get to interact with a lot of creativity that way. So I like that aspect. That's like a community aspect, I guess, of Nice Gate, because they're bringing in people from the outside as makers. I heard there was a tailgate gathering or some kind of tailgate event on Sunday in correlation with some of the football games. So I know that's during the day. I know you had mentioned the night stuff, but I think there's some fun stuff going on during the day. I know in the past when they talked about esports and at Nice Gate, they had like some gaming competitions between some of the teachers, so we can have a chance to experience. I think I played Smash Brothers with Deanne, and we had no idea what we were doing, getting our butts kicked, but at least it was like that created the ripple effect. And through some of those things, we were able to bring some of those ideas back to Lakeshore. So a lot of good stuff going on. And you have to, if you're in Rochester, you have to get a garbage plate. Like if you come to Buffalo, you got to get wings. I don't know what the delicacy is in the Albany area, but in Boston, right, you got to get your chowder. Sorry. If you if you come to Rochester, the garbage plate is the Rochester delicacy.
Okay, don't even tell me what it is. I'll just get it.
I second the garbage plate. It's amazing.
And don't ask.
Just don't eat it.
Yeah, just order it.
So, Mike, I have been to Buffalo a few times, because when I lived in Western Mass, and we used to take the bus up there when the Dolphins played the Bills. It just was a fun, silly thing that we loved it. But to this day, now I was young at that time. I was in early 20s, so 20 plus years ago. I still say that the best hamburger I've ever had was in this Buffalo bar. It had a slice of pineapple on top of it. It had like this, I don't even know, teriyaki sauce. Every hamburger has to be held up to my Buffalo burger, whatever that was, wherever it was the best ever. I don't know where it was. The place probably doesn't exist anymore, but that's still like the staple. I always say when I was up there, And it would always kill us because one time they played early, like September, so we'd have T-shirts and be fun, and then it's the full winter gear in the winter when we played. So it was always a fun trip. Then we got older and like, we're not taking the bus 6 hours to sit out there.
I mean, I think to find the best food in any of these cities is you need to walk into a place that doesn't look like it should pass the health inspection, and you'll get some good food. I mean,
this was definitely one of
in Rochester.
This was definitely one of those places of like, okay, where can we walk? Because we're not in any position to drive. Let's go there. So Lori, as the one on the board, we'll stop the talk about not being able to walk and night things. For those individuals, we're going to wrap it up, and then I have one last question for all of you who've never heard of Nightscape or thinking of coming. Why should they come? Besides all the great things we just talked about, what else can you layer on top of that they're going to come? Because Mike, one of the first things he said was it's not for, he thought it wasn't for math teachers when he was math teachers, but it's for everybody. So as the board member, but as someone who's an impactful educator, tell us why we should go.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with all of, I mean, you guys couldn't sell it any better with all the things you were saying. And you're right, we do have the bands, and we do have trivia night with Carl Hooker, which is always a blast, we have all of these activities. So you really can, from 7:30 in the morning through whatever time you want to go to bed, there's something going on. There's a way to connect. And I think that is what makes Nightscape special, is the connections. I mean, like everyone here said, I mean, Amy and I met outside of the conference, but we certainly have met up at the conference plenty and done different things. But I think it's just a place where you can meet people that want to do what's right for our students and knows that there's always something more to be learned. And so Nightscape is the place to learn those, to try it out. It's a safe place to ask questions and really dig in and try to figure things out. And everyone there is going to have a smile. You're going to see a lot of hugs. We're all going to be so excited to be back together. And it's just going to be one of those things that you're going to be like, okay, it's like Thanksgiving. We're all coming together. We're convening together. And this is our family. This is where we belong. And everyone has a place there. I agree. It doesn't have to be just your tech people. It could be anyone. And then I'm going to add another layer to it too. We have a really good vendor floor. It's an opportunity to spend time with the vendors and talk about what they have and what's coming, and having your voice be heard on what you need from different programs, whatever it happens to be. Mike always sends out a wakelet that is always because you can't get to all the sessions. He puts it out there and says, throw all the resources you learned, all your learning in this one spot, so you have this resource for when you walk away from the conference when it's over. So I just feel like it's the keynotes are going to be remarkable. I think you're gonna feel all the feelings as you go through, and it's all going to be wonderful. And rumor has it there is even a place this year to get a massage. So, we'll see it. We'll see how that all works out. But
I'm going to leave that one alone. But that is awesome.
We're going to have a place where you can relax and recharge, and then we're adding in the author part today this year as well, Matt. You're going to be featured there. So.
And honored and psyched to be there for that. So before we wrap up, make sure to follow all these amazing educators. The Twitter handles below on some of their sites. They have their websites and blogs and different things to check out all that they have to offer. Make sure to come out to Nightscape next weekend. As Mike said, Friday is the student fest, and then the whole weekend and Monday is embedded, professional development, learning, vendors, fun, and just to get a chance to meet individuals. And everything we've talked about today, and what you were just talking about, Lori, about everyone coming together, really, for me, I get excited about it because that's what I try to do and write about. The podcast is called Stronger Together. In 60 seconds, I'd love for each of you to share what Stronger Together means to you.
I can go. I think what you see here is that it's been filling the gaps of where you might lack. You want to surround yourself with people who are going to build you up, encourage you to keep going, and you're going to learn with them and from them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just working with Amy, I've learned about a ton of things this year that I didn't know before. And working with Lori, we were able to, like I said, put on huge things at her school just because, I got to know her and meet her. And it's that support and that kindness that we all share with each other that keeps us going. It keeps us motivated and keeps us learning.
I don't know if I need 60 seconds for this one, but I think it's just we is greater than me.
That was perfect. Yeah, I think Stronger Together really works into the connections that we make, and we know that we can support each other and be there for each other.
Awesome. Well, thank you all for coming on. I'm going to see you I'm not going to be there Friday, but I'll be there Saturday morning and be flying into Rochester, which isn't in nowhere. So I just wanted to get all you New Yorkers going. It has an airport. So let's just say when I went to Iowa, I had to fly to Minnesota and drive. So, I mean, it's 2+ hours. So I just like it as a Bostonian. I like to rile up the New Yorkers. And I didn't even pay Mike to say that the tagline. You'll see it at the end here. For all our listeners out there, make sure to continue to put we over me. Our team together, really, we learn from each other. And as we move forward, we can continue no matter where you are in this profession. I mean, I started in 1993 and I continue to grow each and every day and get excited to learn from first-year teachers all the way to retirees. And I think that's what we're talking about with this event, that we're all coming and bringing something and all leaving with the memories, the smiles, the hugs, and the learning that comes along with it. So we look forward to seeing you all in person in 8 days. And for those of you watching and listening, make sure to put we over me and stay stronger together.